Happy birthday, Catastrophe. This one is for you. Red Dragon is a 2002 crime thriller horror film directed by Brett Ratner. It stars Edward Norton, Anthony Hopkins, obviously, and Harvey Keitel. It was requested by Catastrophe for his birthday, and is according to him one of the best of the Hannibal movies. Well, let's find out. The plot of this film revolves around a police detective named Will Norton, played by Edward Norton, who's been given a case which involves finding a vicious serial killer dubbed the Tooth Fairy. And like with Silence of the Lambs, he needs the assistance of Hannibal Lecter to find him. Only difference though is he has kind of a disdain for Will, due to him being the one who caught him. So, of course, he starts to plot ways that he can get back at Will from inside a cell. Meanwhile, the Tooth Fairy is continuing his murderous binge, and is also aware the police are after him. So Detective Will needs to find a way to stop him, but it won't be easy though. The killer moves around a lot. He's very tough both physically and spiritually, and he shows no sign of stopping. This plot is, as I said, somewhat similar to Silence of the Lambs. What makes it unique, however, is that Norton has a lot more disadvantages for himself than Clarice did. For one, as mentioned before, Dr. Lecter finds ways to get to Will from inside a cell, even causing his family to have to relocate at one point. And the killer himself refuses to go down without a fight. He knows he's a suspect, so he does everything he can to keep as much distance between him and the cops as possible. Even though this is a somewhat similar plot, it still feels refreshing in a sense. These are totally different characters that Lecter is encountering, so of course the way they all interact with each other does feel new. Also, this is a lot more faster paced than Silence of the Lambs, since the killer always seems to be at work and there are constant turns that the film takes. I give plot a B+. Next is acting. Anthony Hopkins obviously does a phenomenal job as Hannibal Lecter. My only problem is he didn't seem to appear in the film as much as he did in Silence of the Lambs. Still, he managed to steal every scene he was in. Edward Norton did alright with his performance as well as Agent Will, but I do believe he has had much better performances, specifically in Fight Club. Still, he does a good job at making the character feel very real and engaging. Also, the fact that he has a family only makes you want to see his character survive even more. I give acting a B+. Finally, directing. The highlight of this film definitely has to be the pacing, and the way Brett Ratner, I'm saying his name wrong, it's actually Ratner, my bad, does reveals just makes the suspense so unbearable. There are a lot of scenes where you think something extreme might happen only for it to be something different. You are constantly finding out new things in this film that it almost feels like you are working on this case with Agent Will, and might soon start to put your own puzzle together as to who the killer is. Also, the reveal of the killer was pretty good. They took a good half hour building him up, and when he was finally introduced, all that build-up was worth it, because he's probably the most intimidating killer I've ever seen. He has a very calm demeanor, but it only throws you off because you don't know when he's going to lash out, and you find yourself wanting him to, just to the overwhelming anticipation to end. I give directing an A. Overall, despite some similarities to Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon is an extremely well-paced story that will have you on the edge of your seat. Although I like Lambs a little better because the character of Catherine makes you want the killer to be found, because there was a sense of danger there. If Clarice didn't find him, she would find this guy, she would be killed. So that kind of gave the film a time limit feel as well. There wasn't really any of that danger in this film, despite the suspense, which kind of felt disappointing. In fact, if the killer had targeted Agent Will's family, that probably would have added more tension. But overall, this was a very fine watch. I give it a B+. Thank you for watching. Happy birthday, Catastrophe, and don't forget to like and sub for more content.